All right, now that our experiments are done, it's time to think about the results. So for me, A went further every time, the more pointy looking paper airplane. And let's think about why. So there are four basic forces to think about with a flying object. So there's drag, which we talked about last time, is the force that slows things down. Now last time it was opposing gravity, right? Because we were just letting things drop. But this time, drag is mostly opposing the thrust. So the thrust is when you throw your paper airplane, you're giving it a force in that direction, right? A force is a push or a pull to make things move. You're pushing it through the air, and that's thrust, right? So drag is going to try to slow it down. And gravity is still pulling on it, right? But now we're getting something called lift. And lift, it's explained a little bit better in your videos, but basically, wings look something like that. And what happens is air comes in, some of it comes over the top, and then some of it goes towards the bottom. Now, when you do this, it makes the air go a lot faster up here. And what happens is there's a difference in pressure, and a pressure is just a force over an area, right? So what'll happen is the pressure is lower up here and higher up here, so the wing feels a push from below, and that's what lift is, right? So the lift comes from the wing shape and how fast it's thrown, how much thrust there is, right? So these two are kind of linked to each other. But I want you to think about the differences between the two paper airplanes that you threw, maybe what they look like. Do you think one of them is a little bit more what we would call aerodynamic, and that's going to reduce drag. So remember, drag is over an area. So if I was throwing like a square, right? Oh, didn't draw that very well. If I'm drawing like a square, there's all of this area for the drag to act on, right? But if I threw like a circle, there's a little bit less, right? It's only that right there. So things that are more aerodynamic, they tend to be a little bit more swoopy, kind of like this wing here, they tend to have less drag. So maybe yours has less drag, and so the thrust was able to carry it a little bit further. Maybe there was a bunch more lift. Maybe the wings were a little bit nicer and it kept it in the air for longer. Maybe you just threw one of them a little bit harder. That would be thrust. And I don't know, maybe you put a little bit of extra paper in one of them and that'll increase its weight, but hopefully the gravity is the same. So I want you to think about which one of these forces is going to be affecting your paper airplanes the most.